For the last couple of hours, I've been haunted by a strange, chilling sensation, as if unseen eyes were watching me from the shadows. It clung to me like a spider's web, growing unbearable with each passing minute. Now, as I've pitched my tent and settled down to rest on the edge of a desolate clearing in the Appalachian backwoods, it's become almost suffocating. I was cooking a simple burger with fries over the campfire, slowly flipping the patty and glancing nervously, first at the clearing where the gnarled trees cast living shadows, then at the distant line of pines, black as sentinels of some ancient curse, and occasionally at the shallow creek nearby, its waters barely knee-deep but now gleaming under the moon like the eye of a cyclops. A portable speaker played a soft, soulful country tune, but its melody drowned in the forest's whispers, cracking branches, rustling leaves that seemed to move with intent. The smell of sizzling meat and smoke mingled with the damp, musty air, and I swatted at mosquitoes. The sunset, with its rosy hues, once might have evoked nostalgia, but now it mocked my terror. If not for this invisible watcher I could feel, a presence as cold as death's breath on my neck, I might have found peace. A week ago, I sat by this creek, panning for gold, calm and carefree. These woods aren't just remote. They're a secret you need to know to survive, and I thought I was one of the few who understood them. But that peace shattered when a branch snapped behind me, followed by heavy, rhythmic thumping, like the drums of fate. It was the tread of a massive bear, but it fled, as if terrified of something. That's when I knew I was in trouble. This bear wasn't just an animal. Local legends whispered of a creature with near-human intelligence, cunning, ruthless, and malevolent. It pursued its own inscrutable goals, appearing mostly to the poor or outsiders it saw as easy prey. For it, humans were a rare delicacy, a meat it craved deep in these forgotten woods. It was a man-eater, a bear-ogre, and its methods were chilling. It would methodically lure victims to its cave if it suspected they were armed, or attack outright if it felt secure. Locals spoke of camps found abandoned, belongings untouched, but surrounded by dried blood splatters and massive bear tracks. Its handiwork. But I wasn't an outsider. I came here to visit my uncle, who'd urged me to try my luck at this gold spot in the backwoods. I was practically local, camped by the creek, not far from the nearest settlement. So why had it appeared? Why did it circle me, occasionally peering from the underbrush, checking if I was still there? The closer I got to home, the nearer it came, its presence growing more menacing, like the shadow of death itself. I hadn't slept for 2 nights, my heart pounding, my nerves frayed. Tomorrow I'd be home, but I felt it. This cursed bear-ogre wouldn't let me reach safety if I stayed near the gold. I had a plan, desperate but cunning. The burger was ready, greasy with a side of crispy fries, a dollop of mustard, and sweet iced tea with a local honey biscuit for dessert. That was my modest dinner. Twilight deepened into night, the darkness thickening like a living thing. I lit my camping lantern, casting a wide pool of light across the clearing, but the shadows beyond grew denser, filled with whispers and rustles. Usually the bear-ogre avoided the light, especially if music played, and I planned to use that to my advantage. I ate, though the food stuck in my throat. Fear clenched my stomach. I felt its gaze, its rage, saw the glint of its eyes in the dark when I shone the lantern. It was there, waiting, but it didn't strike, probably unsure if I was armed. I had only a signal pistol with blanks and flashbang rounds. Once, when it crept out of the forest, clearly intent on killing, I fired, and it flinched, retreating into the shadows. But I had no rifle, and I knew even a carbine wouldn't save me against this giant, clever, cautious beast. Its cowardice was the only thing keeping me alive. I glanced at the sky. Full darkness had fallen, the trees no longer casting shadows, only the faint rustle of leaves breaking the silence. It was time to act. I positioned the tent's entrance toward the creek, out of sight from the forest, forcing the bear-ogre to waste time stalking and searching. It typically took an hour to approach, giving me a window to escape. I turned up the music, brightened the lantern, zipped the tent shut, and slipped out, crossing the creek. I felt its hatred, its bloodlust, but the darkness and the creek's babble hid me. I moved quickly along the bank, where the vegetation was thinner, though I wanted to run. Fear shackled my legs. Glancing back, I saw my camp, the lantern's glow, the fire, the music, but no bear. Not yet. I walked, drenched in sweat in pitch blackness, hearing only the creek's murmur and the crunch of twigs underfoot. Around a bend in the creek, I lit the lantern, but instantly realized my mistake. The light was a beacon for every creature in these woods. Terror gripped me. Had it been nearby all along, unable to find me, but now spotting my glow? I doused the lantern, but it was too late. My mind painted horrors. The bear-ogre, massive with glowing eyes, charging after me, followed by shadows, demons, spirits, werewolves whispering in the branches. I ran, stumbling, scraping my fingers and toes, my strength waning, but I couldn't stop. In the distance, perhaps from the camp, I heard a roar. Closer, much closer. I burst onto a trail where walking was easier, but my energy was nearly gone. Soaked to the bone, foam on my lips, the gold and gear weighed me down, and the lantern's beam felt like a target for death. Suddenly, the bear-ogre lunged out, a nightmare made flesh, massive with bared fangs, drool dripping onto the ground. Its eyes burned with hatred. I spun, firing a blank. It only sped up. Drawing my knife, I thrust it forward, but knew it was useless against this monster. The bear rose on its hind legs, rearing to strike, its roar echoing through the forest. I fell back, screaming, "Help! I'll do anything to live!" The knife trembled in my hand as its saliva and snot sprayed me, its eyes filled with loathing. In a second, I'd be dead, but time froze. Drool hung in the air, the forest silent. Behind me emerged a figure, darker than the night itself. It circled me, approached the bear-ogre, touched its claw, then eyed my knife. "Who are you?" I croaked. "Death, the devil. If it weren't for me, neither death nor the devil would care to save you," it replied, its voice a whisper of wind. "Then who are you?" "That's a complicated question, but I'm here because you called, promising anything to live. I'm a demon, or something like that. I rarely answer such pleas, but your despair drew me." It crouched and I saw it, serpentine fangs, yellowish skin, long bony fingers, small horns on a bald skull, and a grin stretching ear to ear, dripping with malevolent glee. "For you, I'm a choice and a chance. You said you'd do anything to live. I thrive on moments of despair. But I won't take your soul. It's already mine. I just want amusement. Prove yourself and I'll let you go. Let's play a game. If I like how you perform, you'll survive. But it's a terrifying game, not for the faint-hearted." It fanned out a deck of cards. "Draw, but don't look." I took one, my hand shaking. "The rules are simple. 3 cards, 3 fates, 3 deaths. Die there, die here. Your task is to do what's written on the card. Succeed and you win. Fail and it's over. The game starts when you take your first step." I flipped the first card. It read, "You're a thief, murderer, and fraud. Kill the lord of this manor. He's a vampire drinking human blood. You've come at day when he's weak and blind. You have 5 minutes before his guards kill you." Time froze, and I stood in a decrepit wooden manor, axe in hand, an Osage orange necklace at my belt. My body transformed, strong, muscular, unfamiliar. The Lord, a towering bearded man with golden sabers, emerged, bearing fangs. "I won't die because of the likes of you," he hissed coldly. I dove, throwing dirt in his face, attacking with the axe, hacking at his neck like an executioner. After 5 strikes, his head fell, blood gushing, and time froze again. I was back on the trail. The demon laughed. "A beast, no chance at all. But I'll admit, that was the easiest card. I like your ferocity." The second card. Find the exit. I was in an endless brick-walled room, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. I walked for 40 minutes, but the walls never neared. I realized, there's no exit. Whispering, there's no way out. I drew my knife, closed my eyes, exhaled, and slashed my throat. Pain seared through me as blood sprayed, and I fell, fearing I'd been wrong. But the world jolted, and I was back with the demon. No wounds, just trembling. "That was a tough card," it grinned. "Your predecessors ran, crawled, begged, screamed. None reached the walls. It took you little time to face the truth. There's no exit, only admitting it and dying there to live here. You're the first to grasp it so quickly and calmly, exactly what I wanted." The third card. Knight, demon, bear-ogre, and you. You control nothing, yet everything. What must you change to survive? I laughed. "Nothing." The demon roared with laughter, taking the card. "Correct. You couldn't kill the bear-ogre. It would become a vengeful Wendigo of branches, hating humans. You couldn't kill me. Doing nothing was the rare right answer." "I enjoyed your responses and how you face reality," the demon said, vanishing into shadow. "Go home." I stood alone on the trail, lantern lit. No bear-ogre, no demon, no traces remained. Breathing a sigh of relief, unable to believe I'd survived, I headed toward the village, feeling the forest whisper behind me, promising this night wasn't the last.